Hello, is Kyle Marshiku, he, her, cute eldritch entity that pretends to be your equal, and this month is Pride Month. Hello, welcome everybody. So going to be gaying up the stream a little bit. Hope you like it. So, just to back up a little bit to explain what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about gay stuff. And the reason is last stream, I stream every week, Sunday, 11 a.m. US CST. And last week it was the 1st of Pride Month, June 1st, 2025. And that was, cool. It took me a little bit blindsided. Sometimes it's strange to think of how much time passes, whether slowly or quickly, or sometimes both at the same time. But yeah, it's Pride Month, so I decided that next week, that's this week, I would be talking about gay things. That's why I have all the rainbow colors. Kristen Miller says, can you play VR chat? VR chat's not something I'm too into. Even my avatar here is like a custom animation and art that I drew myself. That's because it was just cheaper than trying to get a whole VTuber rig. But yeah, it's Pride Month, so welcome. And so I wanted to talk about a few things. I consider myself to be politically educated. Where the Kiwi says Kristen seems to be a bot, possibly, yeah. I don't know. A lot of gay furries play VR chat, so I wasn't going to assume. Happy Pride, hello, thank you. Happy Pride to you as well. Nice to see you. So yeah, I wanted to talk about gay stuff. I consider myself to be politically educated, and progressive politics, identity politics, is a big part of that. I consider myself to be LGBT, queer, gay in the broad sense, because I'm also asexual. So my line is like, am I gay as in gay or gay as in a? Leave you. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff has happened over the past week. Because one of the things I wanted to talk about was, the Trump regime and what Pride would be like this year. And, I'm a week into it, so a quarter of the way through, a little bit late. Sorry about that. My prediction had been that this summer was going to be a summer of protests, riots, crackdowns, and brutalization attempts by the fascist Trump regime of the United States. It's just a known thing around the world that the hot months, the summer months, I guess unless you're in like Australia or the southern hemisphere, but the hot months are the ones where you get most of the protests and the I guess rebellions, if you want to go further with it. Ah, there's a gnat. Hate gnats. Anyway, and so my prediction was that Pride was going to play a big part into this. And it seems like I was kind of beat to the punch with the ICE raids. If you aren't American, ICE is basically the American Gestapo, where the justification is that, well, we're only getting rid of the immigrants. It's not Nazi stuff if it's immigrants instead of Jews, right? So here, I'll just show my screen. I have... Let's see. Oh, I should probably turn off the gay color so you can see for a second. So I have Blue Sky open, where I have the Blue Sky feed of Robert Evans. He's a really cool journalist that I trust. He does the Behind the Bleeps podcast, if you've ever seen it, Cool Zone Media. He's not right about all the stuff, but he's one of the best journalists out there, in my opinion. And like he's been like showing up. I just wanted to show a little bit of what I was talking about. I thought Pride is going to be where the protests are. I still think they're going to get wrapped up into it. I think ICE just beat it to the punch, but we're going to have a very tumultuous summer, which is part of why I wanted to talk about Pride and gay issues. So here you can see that there are some vans that were trying to kidnap people off the street in Los Angeles. But Los Angeles is a very big, progressive, and diverse city. They basically shoo these people away. But of course, they come back with bigger and better forces. Here's the LAPD, like tear gassing people. And it's gone so bad that the government has declared this an insurrection. Mind you, they didn't consider an actual insurrection against the Capitol an insurrection. The Trump regime didn't. But apparently, people fighting back to protect their own neighbors, yeah, that's an insurrection, apparently. It's just, it's worth noting that if the government isn't going to obey the law, why would you expect the citizens to? You get what you ask for, Trump. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about gay stuff. The ICE stuff is very important, and it's going to continue to be. I'm glad LA residents are fighting back against this crap, because it's literally illegal. And breaking the law is bad. According to like YouTube TOS, I'm not allowed to encourage you to break the law. Fortunately, that's not what's happening here, so I don't have to worry about that. So, going back to gay stuff, though, while a lot of these protests are focused on ICE right now, and that's going to continue to be the case, it's going to spill over into Pride. I think this year is really important. If you are a gay person, if you are queer, if you are trans, if you are an ally of gay, queer, and trans people, I think you should try to find a local Pride event. Even if you live in the middle of nowhere and there's not a lot of options to go to, just find some token event. Try to show your support if you can. I think some people have an unrealistic expectation. I'll see like posts on social media going around that are like, oh, you have to like this if you're an ally. It's like, all right, come on. There's a lot of people vying for your attention, but I think it's good to try to support when you can. I myself have bought tickets with my partner and I. We're going to be going to a drag show. So that should be fun. I haven't been to one of those since last year. And be careful. So I guess since I'm already talking about protests, I can address that first. If you're going to a Pride event that's public and filled with people, I heavily recommend treating it like a protest, because a protest is likely to happen whether you want it to or not. While the protests have been focused more on immigration and illegal deportations and kidnappings, I think it's going to spill over into gay issues. I would expect by the end of the month, there are pride parades that are turned into protests. So just be careful. A big one is do not bring your phone. Because your phone can be used against you, especially if it's unlocked or able to be hacked into by the police. I know phones are quite useful for modern living. Just try to be analog for a day, okay? Find other ways to get around. If you are non-white, if you are clearly, visibly non-white or foreign, try to have identification on you. The better the identification. Like honestly, it would be good if you could bring your passport, but also you really don't want to lose it. So it's a little bit of a risk-reward thing with how good the identification you bring is. If you're in a situation where you're like on a bus and ICE stops the bus to try to check people to see if they're citizens, you are not legally required to show your identification. They will say you are not. There is no law in America that says you have to have identification on you. It's just, they make that crap up. So ideally, most of the bus passengers will be in unison with withholding their IDs and not cooperating with the ICE officials. Because you're not required to. If a police officer stops you, you have to at least engage with them. You can't just shut them down. People say, don't talk to the cops, shut your mouth, don't talk to them. And that is true in spirit, but there's a bit of an asterisk there. If a cop comes over to you and starts talking to you, you have to respond, or it's considered like impeding an investigation. If an officer comes to you and goes, hey, you, what are you doing? Just say, I do not wish to discuss my day, officer. Or something along those lines. You have to respond to them, but you don't have to really respond to them. That's the gist of it. With ICE, you don't even need to do that. The problem is just ICE is very likely to attack you anyway. ICE routinely breaks the law. So, my partner, Kira, she's Latina. So if I'm in a situation where that comes up, we're probably going to have some identification on us. I'm going to insist on that, actually. But I would like to not have to show it. It's kind of a last-ditch trump card for if they single her out and no one else has any type of solidarity. And the reason for that is because there might actually be some immigrants that don't have identification on them. Maybe not even immigrants, just brown people might have no identification on them. And ICE will consider that as cause to kidnap them. And obviously that's not just, but it's kind of a stronger together type of thing. If we don't have to show identification, you don't put other people on the spot who might not have it. So those are a few tips for you. If you are at a protest uh, and there's tear gas involved, because there's been a lot of tear gas in these ICE protests, uh, do not use milk. Milk is a common piece of misinformation that wipes out tear gas. It does not. It is. But do not put milk in your eyes. Do not mix milk with tear gas. Just use water. There are Sudicon wipes that can help specifically, but normally you're just gonna have water, clean, purified water. Kira says, I literally keep ID documents on me at all times just in case these days. Like, yeah, you never know. And technically, ICE jurisdiction is 100 miles within the border, which basically means pretty much everywhere except like farmland in the central US. It's completely ridiculous. So, those are some general protest things. I guess I can talk about just gay stuff in general, right? So, to be gay is to be a homosexual. I'm just kidding. One thing I've been seeing a lot lately with Pride. So Pride month is, June. It's the month of Pride. I don't know why they decided to put it in the summer. It's so hot. Last year, almost got heat stroke because of how hot it was, and they just didn't have enough water. We tried, okay? It was just that hot. I ended up leaving a bit early at that one event. But sorry, there's just a lot of things I could talk about. If you guys got any questions, I'm happy to answer. So, and one thing that's been interesting is corporations during Pride. So it's a bit contentious how a lot of corporations will have these superficial attempts to try to appeal towards gay people towards Pride Month around June. This has been really big the last 4 years, and has been a thing even before that. And a lot of people really hate this. One thing I have been seeing a lot on social media lately is people like cursing out these corporations, saying it's in bad faith, it's not genuine, don't trust these corporations. These corporations should just bleep off, stop pretending to be gay, you're not gay, you're not allies, you don't support us. But I'm going to be a little contentious here. I think that's kind of short-sighted. Obviously, those things are true, right? Those corporations do not care about you. However, I think one thing we've already started to see and will continue to see is more and more corporations dropping the half-hearted attempts at appealing to Pride. Famously, Target already did this. And the reason I think this is a short-sighted idea is because, yes, they are soulless corporations that do not care about anything except making a profit. But prior, under the Biden administration, these corporations, by and large, felt like the most profitable option was to appeal to gay people. And that's good. That is power. Like, rainbow capitalism really does stink. But you know what's worse? Rainbow capitalism deciding to go the other way, turning into white capitalism or straight capitalism, whatever you want to call it. But like, I'd rather have the corporations disingenuously appeal to us rather than trying to appeal the other way. This doesn't mean you can't criticize them, obviously. I completely support, calling out how they're disingenuous, and that doesn't mean anything. But that's not the same thing as like, bleep off, go away, right? It's just ingenuous. It doesn't mean anything, but fine. You can pretend if you want, Amazon or whatever. Uh, it's a it's a virtue signal, literally. But I think we can simultaneously hold the idea of condemning these corporations for being disingenuous, while maybe trying not to completely hasten the disappearance of rainbow capitalism for a far worse capitalism, or at least a progressively worse capitalism. That's my 2 cents about that. That's how I feel. Um, Again, I just think we should not simplify this into a binary. Bleep those companies, but also I'd rather have the companies sucking up to me than not. I would like both of those things. This is a situation where we can have our cake and eat it too, and I would like to engage in both of those activities. Um, oh, there's also been another thing I've been hearing. Oh, right. You guys might have heard of kink at Pride discourse. This was big a few years ago. Not so big these days, which is good, but figured I might as well talk about it. Kink at Pride was a psyop. It was a manufactured discourse created by Nazis to try to frame the LGBT movement or whatnot as pedophilic. This has been a thing since the 80s of trying to frame gay people as pedos. The government, the Trump regime still does it. They just mostly do it to trans people specifically now because, well, everyone knows about the whole gay trick, right? They've done it to gay people for decades. Now they're just doing it to the next group over. And yeah, that's bad. So don't fall for it. The idea of the kink at Pride discourse was, oh, well, can we have kink at Pride? Is kink at Pride good or is it bad? Are you sexualizing children? Just, it's a non-issue because kinksters are a thing. Kinksters are adjacent to LGBT issues and queer people. A lot of queer people are kinksters, but they already know that's not appropriate for like children and stuff. So oftentimes when you go to Pride events, the kink stuff is already segregated. Uh, like it's all they already have like limited hours, limited admission. They have kink. Oh, sorry. They have like Pride at night events, so it's just not really a real issue. And obviously there are like exceptions. There are some people that engage in bad behaviors, but my parents took me to Hooters when I was 10 years old, so I really don't think this is a queer issue, and I do not appreciate people acting like it is. So don't fall for the psyop. It's just a psyop, just to create artificial discourse. And so I'm glad that a lot of people aren't picking it up these days. Another thing I wanted to talk about is I've seen some people talking about like cops at Pride. I wonder if I search for it. Cops at Pride. I have Blue Sky open still. Yeah, sure. This should be fine to show. Oh, wrong icon. Yeah, so I just started Cops at Pride, and you can see there's a whole bunch of people talking about it on Blue Sky. Oh yeah, here's Bunlith, who, if you guys don't know, is a pretty prominent indie game developer. So, I wanted to talk about the whole Cops at Pride idea, and I think the slogan is a little reductive to where some people might not fully understand it. You see it has no cops in Pride and Gay, burning cars and whatnot. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I don't like getting cops. Cops are bad. People go about like, oh, what about the occasional good cop or whatnot? It's like there aren't any good cops because the institution is corrupt. If there is a nice guy who becomes a cop, they will either get booted for being too nice or they will stop being a nice guy. Every nice cop becomes a bad cop. It's just a corrupting institution. That's how it works. But when people start saying like no cops at Pride, I think there's a tendency to take it a little literally. So first of all, whenever you have a protest or a Pride march or parade or a Pride event, there's almost always going to be cops there. And that's not because the cops are like part of the parade. It's because cops are just keeping an eye on the event. Like literally there's cops always in the cities. You have an event in the city, there's going to be cops there. It's just how that works. We can't really escape them even if we would like to. So I think when people talk about the no cops at Pride epithet, what they really mean is cops are not the subject. They are not to be glorified. If you have a Pride parade, it is disgusting to have cops in that parade. A lot of times cops will try to get in on it by wearing like little pride flags or stickers. I've seen like rainbow cop cars. That is disgusting. That to me is what the whole no cops at Pride thing is really about. Some people, I don't know if Bunlith here is one of those people or not, but some people might take that further and be like, oh no, we shouldn't even have cops on the peripheries. They shouldn't have anything to do with Pride. They shouldn't even be watching it. And like, sure, like that would be nice. I mean, I would like to have brunch downtown and have the no cops be at there. I just don't know how realistic that is. You know what I mean? Worldly Kiwi says, nice cops only have three career paths: bad cop, ex-cop, or dead cop. I'm trying to think of the implications of this before I agree to it. Bad cop, yeah. Ex-cop, they stop, or dead cop. What? Why? Oh, because they get killed by the other cops? Yeah, I guess I could see that with like a lot of corruption and whatnot. So yeah, that's my feelings on the whole no cops at Pride thing. It reminds me a little bit of like the defund the police or ACAB slogans that are so simplistic, or sorry, not simplistic, but are like so truncated, I should say, that some people that aren't as educated could be a bit confused. I don't think that necessarily makes them bad slogans, by the way. Slogans are supposed to be truncated. They are supposed to be quick, repeatable things. But I figure I'd talk about that. As for the other slogans, it's not really Pride related, cop related. ACAB, all cops are bad. Kind of already talked about that one. It's a criticism of the institution. Liberals are confused about it because like, well, what about my uncle nice cop? Well, how nice is he? I'm gonna be honest. Maybe he's nice for now. We'll see if that lasts. And as for defund the police, honestly, I felt like that one was a bit more straightforward than the other ones. It's just defund them. Give them less money than you currently do. It shouldn't be that hard to understand. I suppose there's abolish the police. That one gets a lot of feathers ruffled. But I do agree with it. I do think the police should just straight up be abolished. But then a lot of people talk about like, oh, well, what would you do with all of like the rapists and whatnot? And the answer is they're abolished. Because just look up 40% cops, all right? It's because a lot of cops are domestic abusers. Sorry, I can't just leave it to implication. So, yeah, abolish the police. The nuanced answer is, well, oh, you know what? Oh, where's let me look up Zoran. Zoran is currently running for New York City mayor. He's a pretty awesome guy. I wonder if I could find a bit of him where he talks about the police, because then he could just say it for me. AOC endorsed him, which is cool. Yeah, okay, I don't have it up right now, but he has this thing where when he's asked about cops, he doesn't want to give the cops even more money. For once, there's a politician not giving cops more money. And when he's asked about it, the answer he gives is, cops are already stretched way too thin doing a bunch of jobs that shouldn't be their job. What you want to do is you want to alleviate them with social workers that could handle those jobs without a gun, without killing people. And he frames this as a pro-cop thing, that he's letting the cops do their real jobs, which is, a very savvy way to spin that. So that is the nuanced answer of like, yes, we should abolish the police by reforming the police institution, replacing it with a scaled down version that only does things that like you need a gun for or something like that, or investigations, and then having the other things handled by social workers and government bureaucrats and services and stuff, or not just bureaucrats, but like social workers. However, that is the nuanced answer. But if someone's like, well, Kyle, I don't care about nuance. You want to abolish the police. And the answer is, well, yeah. Yes, actually, that is fine too. I will also take that. I would like to replace the police with a better institution. But if you're like, Kyle, it's only police or anarchy, and like the bad faith, like cartoonish anarchy, yes, that would be preferable to what's currently in power. Yes, during the Black Lives Matter protest, the New York cops actually protested and stopped doing their job, and crime went down because it turns out police just exacerbate crime. Eh. All right, let me get back to the gay screen. Gay Zoran, woo. Um, all right. I guess there's also a matter of identity politics. So technically, identity is such a broad subject that identity politics could refer to most politics. Identifying as a communist is identity politics. But when people talk about identity politics, usually what they mean is liberal identity politics, which is to say, like, you know, progressive demographic identifiers like race, gender, or queerness, sexuality, etc. And there's often a loathing towards liberal identity politics being evoked disingenuously, much like those corporations. It's not uncommon to see corporations, government institutions, politicians, just straight up liberals, and a lot of like late night talk show folks invoking progressive ideals in a way that's superficial. I've seen a lot of YouTube creators do this as well. And that is something I disagree with. Very gay, very queer, all that stuff. Yes, great, great, awesome. Be gay, be gay and do anti-crime. But I think it's important to recognize when things are being wielded disingenuously. For example, in my Homestuck video, I talked about some bad behaviors that I see amongst the left, which is a bit of an umbrella term for liberals and leftists. And one of the examples I cited was how a number of years ago, when a trans girl, not even a woman, 16-year-old girl, was murdered, there were a lot of people that were trying to pit white trans people against black trans people. And I think it was kind of a psyop, but unfortunately, a lot of woke scolds, a lot of people that put way too much faith in liberal identity politics fell for it. Because what are you going to do? You're going to talk over a black trans woman? And my answer to that is, well, if the black trans woman is wrong, then yes, I will talk over her because I enjoy being correct. And I have beliefs that are more than just myself. I believe in progressivism, and I'm not going to just let one problematic person who is of a minority group stand in the way of that. And that goes with any issues. That was just one specific example. Turns out minorities aren't a monolith, and they can be wrong. One thing that's actually kind of interesting with this Zoran Mamdani race is that most, from what I've seen in the polls, this could change in the final outcome, but from what I've seen in the polls, most black people that are voting in this race aren't supporting the most progressive candidate, the Muslim man. They're supporting the old white guy, rapist Cuomo. And that's really interesting to me. But if you think about it, it's obvious, right? The Republican Party is overtly racist and fascist. It is very difficult to be a person of color, to be a black person, to be a queer person, and vote for the Republicans when they are currently either discriminating against you or doing a genocide, as is the case with trans people. So, naturally, when we're talking about a Democratic primary in the opposition party, you're going to have filters for white people, for men, for people that could have gone Republican. But take black people, for example. It's kind of hard to vote Republican even if you're a conservative because they hate you so much. So this means that there is a disproportionate amount of conservative minorities that vote Democrat. So it's an interesting kind of switcheroo, I suppose you could say. But you would never get to that knowledge if you just kind of tokenized everybody by their base demographics. You have to kind of understand broader social forces that are happening here. So that's one reason I kind of balk against identity politics in the way that it's often evoked, even though theoretically it should just be a flat good thing. All right. Well, those are some top subjects about gay stuff. What else is there? I guess drag queens. Drag queens are interesting because they're not gay in the LGBT sense. We talk about LGBTQIA plus with all these letters, but part of the reason there's so many letters is just because there's so many ways to be deviant, really. Drag queens kind of get grouped in there because most drag queens are gay men, and so that's the G in LGBT. But they don't have to be, you know? You can have like women in drag, you can have non-binary drag, you can have probably other forms of drag I'm just failing to think of right now. So yeah, and you know there's nothing wrong with it. Drag is just literally dressing up in a very campy way as like a sort of gender play. Famously, Ursula in The Little Mermaid was drag. Here, let me... Little Mermaid Ursula. I know I still have the gay screen on, whatever. It's fitting. Like, she was literally based on an actual drag queen. So that's pretty cool. She's also a squid girl. Hey, that's nice. Yeah, so... I kind of just wanted to talk about some gay pride stuff. Go do some gay stuff. Have fun. Even if you are not yourself gay or trans or whatnot, you know, you can always experiment, but also just go out and have fun and, you know, support the movement. I don't mean to focus on allies so much. I feel like a lot of queer people, they're like, this is our month. We want our safe space. We want to have our own thing. But I feel like exclusion is kind of antithetical to what Pride's about. So I guess I just kind of feel like since the majority of people are not queer, at least ostensibly, I think it's important just to make it known. They're like, hey, yeah, you can join too. Don't worry. You can come along. That's fine. I think it's also important because while I say those people are ostensibly not queer, there's a lot of people that just haven't really had a chance to question themselves or think about it. As I said at the top of the stream, I use the pronouns he, her on when I'm online and whatnot. You know, my daily life, I have to do what I have to survive. You know, understand. But and the reason for that is because for the longest time I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with gender. I talk about this at the end of my Homestuck video. Gotta be at least a little gay, right? Well, the world is too scary, I'm gonna be honest. It would be nice to maybe play around with gender a bit more in my daily life, but I don't want to be genocided. And I do feel like I'm in a position where I'm not going to die if I don't. I have a loving family and partner. I have projects I care about, and I have a day job that's able to keep us alive. So I make fun where I can, and I survive where I have to. I have seen people ask, like, oh, should I come out of the closet? Should I stay in or whatnot with the regime? I don't want to get killed. And quite frankly, that's a decision you have to make for yourself. I can't really make that for you. I know a lot of people will say, like, you want to just come out, you know, live your best life. You don't want to die. But I don't think it's always that extreme for everybody. I think there is a misconception that everyone is just like a straight up like trans woman in a man's body or vice versa or whatever. Did you see the movie I Saw the TV Glow? Here, let me pull it up. I Saw the TV Glow. Yeah. I really hate the new Google layout. Here, can I just open the image in a new tab? Yeah, whatever. There we go. Yeah, so this was basically an entire movie whose premise was a trans woman not accepting that she's a trans woman and continuing to live as a boy, and it's killing her on the inside. This movie was beautiful. The art direction was nice. But I absolutely hate this movie. I despise it so much. And that's because I really. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the emotions I had while watching it. I think the reason I hate this movie is because I think it's a bit of torture porn. I'm going to spoil a little bit. The movie ends really terribly. It's a bad ending movie. And I just feel like things are already bleak enough in this world. Did we really need a movie about being closeted to end with tragedy and despair? I feel like this movie could have been actually more powerful if at the end of it, maybe she finally came to and realized herself and whatnot, and there was a hopeful ending. I don't even think it had to be a good ending, just maybe hopeful. Maybe she realizes it, but it's kind of late. She's a little too late. Maybe she's kind of old. She only realized it in her elder years or something. And I think that would still be a very powerful and meaningful movie. But the fact that it ends so tragically, it's just like the world is too bleak for this. I I don't. I wonder if I wonder how many people watch this movie out of self-harm. There is tragedy where it's like, oh, it's a beautiful movie and you cry and you're like, oh, that really hurt me and tugged at my heartstrings. This was beyond that for me. This was despair inducing. And I kind of like want to say bleep you to the movie because I I don't think this is every situation. I think obviously this does happen, and I think it's good to encourage people to come out when they can. But I do think there are some people, like me, that are kind of just able to coast, and I think that's okay. I don't want to put my family at risk by doing gender things that might make my job more likely to get rid of me. And I'm not dying on the inside. I love my partner. I love my projects, you know? Sorry, I'm being a little personal here. It was kind of hard not to when I brought this movie up. I guess, if anything, it's very emotionally impactful, but I wouldn't recommend it. Well, let me turn the gay stuff back on. So, yeah, you make the call you have to. You do what you have to for your own life. But, even if you don't get to overtly, outwardly live the life you would like to live, find those spaces, find those times. I remember growing up and thinking, uh, I remember thinking like, you know, what about those like old men that pretend to be girls online and stuff? And then one day I actually met one. I was on a Pokemon website when I was a teenager, and there was a number of friends I made on the website. And as I was starting to like move away from it and not be on so much anymore, I spoke to one of them and I told them that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really on active much anymore. And that person, she, told me, oh, okay, well, if you're going to leave anyway, can I reveal a secret to you? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she's like, I'm actually a guy, but I like pretending to be a girl online. Now, this was, you know, the 2000s, right? Language was a bit hacky back then. People still use the term transsexual often. I think that was my first time talking to a trans girl. I just didn't realize it, you know? That was a person who normally went as a guy. Uh, I think they were probably a teenager like I was. And they decided to be a girl on their virtual life. And I think there's a bravery in that. And I don't think that's always a situation of self-loathing. I think we have to allow for room of experimentation. That's why I started using the pronouns he, her online, and I use the sexy Eldritch girl as my avatar now. And the reason for that is I just had no interest in being they, them. I had no interest in non-binary stuff. And I saw Finster. Finster is, I guess here, let me pull up Finster. Does Finster have a blue sky? Maybe not. Maybe Finster's on. Oh, no, Finster does have a blue sky. Okay. Yeah, sure. So Finster is a YouTube creator. I think they're on OnlyFans now. I don't remember. But yeah, Twitch as well. And Originally, oh, there's not a lot of posts on here. Oh, I should not show that. Um, uh, they, what pronouns? Any all, yeah. Fenster's any all, but on their Twitter account they had he her, and I thought that was amusing. I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, yeah, I should start using he her as well. If you're into femboys, I guess you'll like Fenster. Fenster plays around with gender a lot, and I think it's kind of amusing. Pretty amusing. World of Kiwi says, okay, I planned to watch I Saw the TV Glow, but now I'm kind of reluctant about it. I know I should get out of my comfort zone, but I don't feel like watching something so obviously depressing. Yeah. Um, yeah, I genuinely feel like I have a duty to warn people about how depressing it is. I would be worried about it sending someone into an episode. I think the goal is to scare you into coming out. And that might sound a bit crass, but like to warn you of the consequences of burying your true self and in the hopes that you'll want to not end up like she did. But I feel like I remember Philosophy Tube's video on climate grief. And in that video she talked about how like climate despair doesn't really help anyone. You're almost like reveling in the dystopia of the hopelessness. Where's the climate grief? And in terms of gender, I think where is the trans joy? Like, I guess that's part of the reason I like seeing Fenster. Again, I have no love for femboys. Femboys just aren't like a thing I look for. I'm not searching femboy porn or anything, but I genuinely think it's interesting seeing a queer person being so successful and happy. And I think that's admirable. I think we need more cases of that. Even if you want to make a movie with a narrative that goes into some difficult and hard places, I don't want to revel in despair. And I think despair is something worse than just tragedy, you know? Like, there are stories that have tragic ends, but it still feels like, oh, that meant something. That was important. But despair is something worse than that. Despair feels like a middle finger to me. And okay, and just to spoil something, I'm going to spoil something else. So, cover your ears if you don't want to hear it. There's a scene near the end, the penultimate scene of I Saw the TV Glow, where through this like supernatural thing, the main character tears open a rift into another world and sees the other world where she is happy. And she like screams tears of despair and regret and joy as she realizes what's possible and what she could have, and she has this moment, and it's like it's finally happening, and then the next scene she closes it and walks away and starts dying. And I just was like, that was a bleep you. That was a middle finger from the creator to me personally. I did not enjoy that. I did not enjoy that at all. I I'm sure the creator is a decent progressive person, but I do not like their creative vision. I do not like it one bit. What's a more positive queer media? A more hopeful one? I don't know. There's tons of books out there of like queer LGBT love stories and romances and stuff. I'm trying to think of like a video game or a TV show. I don't know. I know a lot of shows that are like casually gay, but like gay protagonists. Oh, you know what? Like I've shouted out Lindsay Ellis a lot, but I really like her book series Axioms In, and that's a story where like the main character is a lesbian. It even gets to the point where they have a lesbian sex scene, which was interesting. I say that just because I've never really read a lesbian sex scene. Again, I'm not one to really look up pornography. That's what being asexual does to you. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Be gay. It is Pride Month. Live a little. Try things, you know? Oh, Kira says Hasbin Hotel is really good. Okay. Kira says Cora is bi. Is she? I don't remember her being into boys. I don't remember a boy she was into. But maybe she was. Maybe I was just misremembering. Um, Hasbin Hotel. I really do like Hasbin Hotel. I've talked about it before. Um, okay, I Hasbin Hotel is very gay, but I feel like the gayness, like, it's not really the point. The whole point is the main character. Like, it deals with like bigger themes than just like being gay. The main character just kind of is also gay. She is gender nonconforming though. She's a girl in a suit. Kira says she was in a relationship with a journalist guy. Oh right, I forgot about that. Okay, you're right. Cora was bi. My bad. Um, but you know what's better? So I think Hasbin Hotel is the better show than Bleep of a Boss. I should. Okay, let me pull up more gay things. 1 second. Ah, I keep turning off the wrong colors. Okay. All right. So this is Hasbin Hotel. You can just see from the thumbnails. It's a great show. I really love it. There's some really cool things. There's so much like fan art and videos and stuff. Like for every second of actual show footage, there's 100 hours of fan things. But a really great show. Recommend. Really cool. But it's about themes bigger than just gayness. It's just because all the characters are in the underworld, they also tend to be pretty queer. But they made another show. The same creators, Vivsy Pop or whatnot, made this one. It's a bit difficult for me to talk about. Now, this show is kind of the predecessor to Hasbin Hotel that kind of got it on the map. World of Kiwi says, I was a little heartbroken when the new Pride merch / art revealed that Vortex from Bleep of a Boss was straight because I low-key have a crush on him. Still got Husk, though. Who was Vortex again? I don't remember who Vortex was. Oh, the Beelzebub character. Oh, goodness. Okay, so this guy. No, this one. The Hound guy. Uh, yeah, I can see why you'd be surprised that that man is straight. I am surprised as well. Uh, but so I think Hasbin Hotel is bigger because I think it really does the setting of the underworld more justice. I think the plight of Charlie is more interesting. Bleep of a Boss tends to lean into a little bit of like the boys' edge shock value humor sometimes. But if you're going for gayness, I would really suggest this show over Hasbin Hotel. Because if you watch enough episodes of this show, you eventually find out that it's a love story. It's a romance between an imp and a like owl demon. And it's so beautiful. And the imp is so terrible. The owl demon deserves better than him. And yeah, so if romance is your thing, you're definitely going to love this one more than Hasbin Hotel. If metaphysical stakes and world building is your thing, you're going to like Hasbin Hotel more. So that's my advice. All right. Uh well, I think with that, I've said all I can think about gay stuff. We've talked about the four big pillars of gay things, okay? We've talked about fascist crackdowns. We've talked about identity politics. We've talked about sex and Hasbin Hotel, the four pillars of gayness. All right, with that, I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to be back in zombies. I know it was short, but I'm just kind of rambling, so oh well. I'll be back to play zombies with my gay partner, with my gay self. Uh, Fun fact, when Kira told me that she was gay, I was like, oh, why do you like women? And her answer was boobs. I'm sure that's more complicated than that, but that was her immediate response. All right, I'll be right back. All right. Hello. I am back. I'm going to call up my partner now. 1 second. Wait, why isn't the music playing? There we go. Doesn't matter. We'll be turning it off in a minute anyway.
Hi.
Hey, Kira. Welcome.
Hey.
Hope you liked my gay talk.
That was fun.
Thank you. By the way, the reason I forgot that the main character from Lindsay Ellis's Axioms and Korra was bi is because there is a bit where she dates a guy, but it's a very fraught relationship, and my brain just kind of like didn't categorize it, and it was just like asterisk.
Yeah.
Like it definitely was a relationship. I'm not denying that, but there was so much stuff going on. That book was kind of about dealing with trauma. That I don't want to get all the way into it. Let's just say in that book there is a guy that I would say rapes his girlfriend, but he doesn't realize he's doing it. Like it really goes into like dubious consent because she's clearly having PTSD and he doesn't really recognize that or know how to deal with that, right? So
Yeah.
this would be one of the niche situations where I would say he does a rape, but he is not a rapist.
Yeah. It's a really messed up situation.
Yeah, and the worst part is he's a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the worst. It's justified in the story because of the things that happen. It's about dealing with trauma, so it goes to some dark places. Definitely recommend.
Yeah.
Anyway, you want to play zombies?
Uh-huh.
All right, 1 second. Gotta boot it. Oh, if you don't mind, Kira, while I'm doing that, can you just talk about gay things?
You said that boobs thing and it made me laugh because like
Oh
I
no,
think that was
sweetie, your mic is squealing, literally squealing. I need you to fix the cords again.
okay, is that any better?
No, not even close.
Really?
It is squealing. Please just fix it.
I'm trying.
Can you please just fix it instead of. Come on.
I'm trying. It just won't.
We've been over this before. When you're dealing with having cords, you move your computer around very often these days. When you deal with cords, tangling and cords touching and whatnot, bending around corners, it matters so much more when it's an audio cord because it affects the quality of the cable. This is why I have to keep asking you to make sure you have the pathing and being plugged in correctly every time you do this, sweetie. And it puts me in a frustrating situation of having to say this live on stream, but everyone can hear the squealing. So, uh,
Okay, is it any better?
keep talking.
All right. I am testing this out.
I mean,
Is it any better?
you sound a bit like face punched.
I am trying to move the cord so that it
Do you want
goes
me?
through correctly.
Do you want me to come over there and help you?
No, no. Okay, so is this good?
You sound very close to the mic.
I am. So I can move it. I just need to know if it's
you're,
okay.
You're too close to the mic.
All right. Is that better?
What?
Is that any better? Is this any better?
You sound like you're
Can you
too
hear
far
me
now.
okay? Well, it's right next to me. It's fine. Is it good now?
Keep talking.
All right. But is it any good now? You know, I actually
Well,
really,
I'm gonna quit
really.
the game. Talk again. Talk again?
All right, all right. Um, I actually really liked
Okay.
Axiom's at
Yeah,
what?
sorry. I'm going to go over there and fix it.
Okay.
All right, I'm back. Are you there, sweetie?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully that sounds okay.
You sound way too loud. Back up from the mic.
All right, all right.
Can you talk?
Sure. Um, hopefully this sounds better.
Yep, sounds
You know,
immediately better. For full disclosure, anyone watching, she had it wrapped around 5 different cords.
I didn't realize it was right
That's
down
why I
there.
asked you to check it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair.
Thank you. All right. Loading up the game now.
Okay.
Yes, audio cords really don't like touching other cords. And it adds like a static interference.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a professional audio engineer, but I bet you they have something specifically meant to counterbalance that. Maybe some type of wrapping for the cord, possibly. Maybe XLR mics don't have this issue as much, but I'm using our XLR mic. You're using the USB one, so yours is going to be lower in quality.
Yep.
We only have one XLR mic between the two of us.
Yeah.
All right, game time. Finally.
He said it was Cuba.
So
happened in Cuba?
what is going to happen today? So we're going to continue playing zombies. Kira and I did talk about it, and while we could hold on. Yeah, see, while we could play custom zombies, there are custom maps for Black Ops. We don't have them, nor do I have the familiarity with them. We wanted to play as much zombies as we can, but the fundraiser only went so far, unfortunately. While I would have loved to play some more of the official zombies levels, Black Ops is as far as we're going to be able to get.
Yeah.
Now, we played custom World at War levels at first because we thought, maybe that's all as far as we got then. We got to Black Ops, which is cool. I don't really want to play modded levels for Black Ops as much. And the reason is that Custom Zombies World at War was kind of the peak of it, because that was when modding tools were first around. It was years before they added modding tools to later games.
Uh-huh.
And I just don't think it's going to be as interesting. And I think Zombies was at its most interesting during the early days. If we did get the fundraiser to go on further and we played all the way up to Black Ops 6, trust me, the levels would have gotten worse and worse. It would have been like playing a bad game on purpose for fun. Which I was willing to do. So Kira and I were talking about it, and we don't want this to go on forever, right? We do have a Minecraft game to get back to eventually. So we decided that we're not going to be playing the custom zombies levels anymore.
Yeah.
Do you have
It's
anything to
okay.
say?
Yeah, I mean it's okay. That's fine. We still have a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah. I don't really have any interest here. I would like to finish playing the official levels. We've played all of the remakes as well as the default levels on Black Ops, so all we have left are Ascension, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La, and Moon, the DLC levels. So the plan is we're going to continue doing these, and then we'll go back to Minecraft, and that's kind of all we have planned. Eventually, this streaming thing will be wrapped up. I am currently working on editing Cinemodded Fallout in my free time, and that will just be going back to that. Oh, it is worth noticing, after last stream, I was very frustrated to find out that every single time we got a fire sale, we were copyright flagged, because the fire sale music is content ID'd on YouTube. It is infuriating. It is a little jingle in a AAA game. So that's another reason I don't really want to be playing Black Ops forever. Today we're going to be playing Ascension. Ascension is the level that takes place in the Soviet Union. It takes place at the Baikonur Cosmodrome specifically. It is also notable in being the easiest level they ever released. So we might be here a while.
Oh, hey, sweetie.
Yes?
So I was looking at the Hell of a Boss Pride stuff since it was mentioned,
Uh-huh.
and apparently Octavia is Ace, and Sally Mae, you know, Millie's sister, is a trans lesbian.
Well, the Ace one I would maybe dispute a little bit, but the trans lesbian one, that one was honestly obvious. I don't want to be a jerk about it, but I did kind of clock her. She's a trans lesbian because the actress is a trans lesbian.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. This might upset you. Maman is considered Ace as well.
Oh yeah, that's infuriating. Whirly Kiwi says, when I'm in an insufferability competition and my opponent is copyright. True. I will say I don't like the idea of just announcing characters' sexualities outside of the media. That's why I don't like that, I'm going to be honest, that fake Ace representation of Mammon and Octavia. Because, quite frankly, they are not depicted as asexual in any way in the actual media they appear in. Selling me merch that says they're ace is, quite frankly, condescending, and I do not appreciate it. Like, that's some, like, J.K. Rowling type stuff. But J.K. Rowling is a Nazi.
Yeah.
But that's what she used to do, is saying, like, oh, Dumbledore's gay, but she wouldn't actually write down that he was gay in any of her books. That used to be the stuff she was known for, the controversy she was in. But yeah, I don't appreciate that, especially because, like I understand asexuality is one of the more nebulous ones. Oh, World of Kiwis says, oh yeah, it's giving JKR, and I do not like comparing queer people to JKR. Oh, you said it. Yeah, beat ya, haha.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, I do like that. Like, it's giving JKR? But yeah, I don't know if I should get into this, but I do think people are way too mean to Visipop. I feel like they just want to hate on a successful queer person. It's a similar thing to what I talked about with, like, Homestuck and whatnot. I think a lot of people just try to tear down their own. I also kind of touched on this when I talked about video essayists. But regardless of that, I still don't think it's a good move to just declare character sexualities for Pride. If you really wanted Octavia to be Ace, you could have put that in the show. I understand Ace is a bit more difficult to show than the other ones, but generally the rule still applies. You want a character to be gay, have them be gay in the piece of media. Don't just claim that. Authors are not gods of their worlds that can just declare whatever they want and expect it to be true. This is why the Koopalings are still Bowser's children. I do not give a crap what Miyamoto says. Can you join the game already? That would have been a great time to just start the game, but you're not here.
Okay.
I was going to do a cool exit, but then my wife didn't show up.
Sorry.
It's okay. Mic drop, comes around, picks it back up, and goes, hold on, I gotta wait for the wife.
Oh god, plutonium is updating. There
Wait,
we
you
go.
don't even have it open yet? I'm like spam
did.
inviting you. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna spam you.
Really?
Deal with it.
Okay, I see it. Would you stop?
You are a little
There.
loud. You are a little loud, just so you know, sweetie.
Sorry. There.
All right, let's start. At least with that Vortex Hound character, in the show, he was only shown kind of patronizing girls. I don't know if it was necessarily romantic. I could believe he's straight. I would have put my money on gay.
Bia's his girlfriend.
Okay, I don't remember. I didn't remember if that was explicitly stated.
Yeah. She was explicitly his girlfriend.
I'm just saying that one's more believable than just like, oh, this character hasn't been shown to have any romantic aspirations, therefore ace. It's like, okay, come on.
I will help you, but only if you get me some vodka.
Okay, so this definitely looks different. One thing that's been kind of interesting playing these levels is at the time that these zombie levels, these Call of Duty games were coming out, Activision had a deal with Microsoft so that all of their stuff would be released on Xbox a month early before the other consoles. So it's interesting to kind of see how the levels visually look a bit different. And the reason for that... Yeah, and the reason for that is they were made explicitly to work on Xbox and they were ported to PC and PlayStation. So, like, I actually think it's really cool the way they have the level be grayscale before you turn the power on here. But there's a lot of really dark blacks here that were not supposed to be here. I think that's a graphical glitch. Whirly Kiwi says, is it supposed to be monochromatic? Yeah. On this level, until you turn the power on, everything is monochromatic. It's black and white. Because it's like you're in the Soviet Union, you're in the 60s, and you have dated technology, retrofuturism stuff. And I think it's cool. They never did it again. This was the only time they ever did it, and I wish they had. I wish they experimented more with color correction. I think it gives this level a bit of a unique flair.
They have a teddy bear over here with a sickle.
Yep. So yeah, this level is super easy, so we're probably going to go far as long as we can get past the initial rounds. Watch out for the centrifuge.
Yep.
I kind of get a weird pleasure in dismissing ace representation that's bad. Because, like, I talked about, like, woke scolds and marginalized identities and stuff before. Because, like, if I, like, criticize a black trans woman, that does look bad on me. It looks like I'm talking over her or whatnot. People might take issue with that. But if I talk over an ace person or some bad ace representation, well, that's my identity, right? So I don't have to worry about that. I can be as confident as I want talking down to an ace person because I am also ace.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that with the Octavia thing you mentioned.
Uh-huh.
Watch out. Oh, you bought the shotgun?
Yep.
Double barrel?
Shotguns are fun.
Watch out behind you. You can survive the centrifuge if you crouch, just so you know.
Okay.
Alright, let's go. We should move on from this point.
All right.
Follow me.
Yes.
Here, you open the first door because it's the cheapest. Alright, we're outside.
Where's the power?
We're gonna have to open up several doors before we can get there. Let's buy a gun.
I'm gonna make him eat lead and die again.
Alright. I think, unfortunately, one thing that happened with this level is because it ended up being so easy, there was a tendency to overcorrect on later levels and make them way too hard.
Yeah.
Part of the reason this level is easy is because of how big the open spaces are. And so they made it to where they were never big and open ever again.
See you in hell! Hoorah!
And I just feel like it's a bit of an extreme situation. Do you want to go try to turn the power on?
Yes.
Alright, let's go.
Yeah.
This way? We gotta go to the top of this building. Man, I really do actually like the monochrome. Alright, we are here. Say goodbye to the monochrome. Turn on the power. We got color.
And the box is here.
Yep. And as you can see, they're starting to load up the giant missile. Alright, I am almost out. Oh! Death machine. Ah.
Behind you.
I wanted to look at the missile get loaded.
Ah!
There it is.
Okay.
World of Kiwi says bye-bye, monochrome. Yeah, we'll miss you. What'd you get?
Famas.
Alright, I would like to go to the box too.
Okay.
Grenade launcher? A sniper. This is so bad. Crossbow? I guess I could take it. Although, to be honest, sweetie, I was really hoping to get the thunder gun this time because I haven't been able to use it since we've been streaming.
That's fine. If I get it, I'll re-roll.
That would be nice. Alright. One thing about this level is it was the first time they ever... You're destroying all the glass?
Oh.
It was the first time they ever did a big Easter egg, which would eventually become, like, the main quest.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's unfortunate. Let's leave. We don't want to stay here.
Okay.
I think it set a bad precedent for where the series was going, unfortunately. I don't think the level is bad, but there's more stuff to do here, and that stuff isn't necessarily fun.
Yeah, okay.
It also became a running joke that after you did all of the ridiculous nonsense you were supposed to do... Oh goodness, it's so dark here.
The textures are all off. The walls are black.
Yeah, that's definitely a glitch. I wonder if that's plutonium or whatnot. Oh well.
I don't know.
There's definitely supposed to be a lot more gray.
Yeah.
I think it's a lighting issue, because the zombies are also all black.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely something broken with the lighting.
Yep.
We'll make do as best we can. But, my point was... something. Can we activate this? We can.
You were talking about the Easter egg.
Watch out.
Oh, you got stickies?
Yep. Alright, we called the lunar lander here. We can use this as an escape if we need to. Oh, anyway, I was talking about it was a running joke that after doing all of the nonsense, the reward was really paltry, so a lot of people felt ripped off, so they made sure in the future to give you better rewards.
Mm. What's the reward on this map?
It is a death machine for 2 minutes.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
That's so dumb.
It is, but I don't really think it was meant to be a big deal.
And it wouldn't have been if it wasn't such a pain in the ass to do.
I'm gonna see if I can raise the lighting settings.
I gotta
Brightness.
get some ammo before the
Alright, I'm
bloodshed
at a
can
half.
continue.
What happens if I raise it beyond that point? Oh, these textures are still broken. Yeah, the textures are
Yeah.
broken. It's not the lighting.
Oh, wow.
Oh well. I'm gonna die because I have no guns.
Oh, no.
I should have been prepping, and instead I was trying to fix the graphics. Alright, I bought new gun, new bullets. We need to leave a crawler.
Okay.
I need to raise my lighting. I lowered it too much on my screen. You guys can't see. That's better. A little better, actually. Could be better. One moment. Apologies. Broken game.
Yeah.
Game archival is genuinely an important thing, and people don't realize that.
Yeah.
Nope. Alright, no crawler then.
Oh, sorry. Didn't realize that was the last one.
I mean, it started running when you shot it.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot that was a mechanic.
I'm gonna go run to the box.
Okay.
What'd you get? Death machine?
Yeah.
Doesn't say the sound effect on this one. Alright, that's fine. Got a machine gun. Oh, got another machine gun. Galil. Alright.
Cool. Ah. Oh no, I have no ammo for my FAMAS.
Yep. I think we are almost done. Leave a crawler. Oh,
Oh no!
alright, got a crawler. I got you, sweetie.
Thank you.
It's a shame the textures over here are broken, because this is probably the best place on the map to run around in.
Let me mess with my settings.
Yeah, I raised the brightness a little bit. Oh my goodness, even those reflection textures are real crap. I understand this is an old game, but like the other levels looked better than this.
Yeah.
Alright, so... well, I guess I'm waiting on you.
Alright, I just upped the brightness some.
Okay. Alright, sweetie, let's go get Juggernog.
Okay.
Do you want me to talk about what we're gonna do, or just wait for it to happen?
Wait for it to happen.
Okay.
That's more fun.
Well, we're gonna buy Juggernog first. We have to go from under, for reasons. We don't want to open the top door, because it's a better... You know, by this level, they started putting Juggernog in really difficult locations for challenge. And so we have to kind of use door control to make it a bit more defensible when we need to run here to get it.
Yeah. Alright, I need a weapon.
Well, there's still the box. I'm out of points, though.
Yeah. Is it in the same spot as last time?
Yeah, it hasn't moved yet.
Okay. Ow. I wonder if maybe if I turn shadows off, it will stop breaking the textures.
I don't think so. I mean, I could try messing with it while you're going to the box, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I have texture filtering set to automatic. Let's see if changing that fixes it. Nope. Alright. Anisotropic filtering, does that fix it? I don't think that did anything. No. I have texture quality set to extra. Wait, it won't let me change it on this level.
Yeah. I think it doesn't let you change it mid-game.
Oh, that could be an issue. Shader warming. Let's turn that on. Yes, maybe? Nope, that didn't do anything. Shadows, I can turn that off. Nope, that still didn't fix it. Did the box move?
Yes, it did.
Number of corpses small. I normally put that on large. I don't know why that changed. Performance? Oh, they have LOD stuff. What? I don't know if I should mess with that. Yeah, I don't know.
It's I've
What?
seen people
Oh, you timed
say
out.
that. Oh, okay.
See what? What?
I've seen people say that. Oh wait, what?
What?
I got a big error.
Yeah, you timed out.
I've seen people say that like it didn't install the correct textures for some reason.
But it happened on both of us independently.
Yeah.
Weird. Well, are you going to join the game or what?
Let me see.
I mean, I can end the game, I guess, and change the settings. I guess I'll do that since you lost everything anyway.
Yeah, all right.
Alright. Let me back out, go to settings, graphics, and texture quality's on extra. Let's just put it on high and see if that's better. And then I'll go to zombies, I'll do solo Ascension and see if that works.
Oh,
What?
you need to. It says that you need to install the multiplayer thing on Plutonium as well as zombie for it to work because some textures are shared between.
I don't know what that means.
You know on Plutonium how there's a multiplayer and a zombies one?
I mean, yeah, that's how it works.
If you don't install multiplayer, don't set that up. Some textures apparently don't get installed.
I don't know if that's correct, because when I go to Plutonium, it says multiplayer / zombies. Like, I already have multiplayer. I could play multiplayer if I wanted to.
Try launching it once, because a lot of games don't install things until you launch it. So just try launching it once, just to see if it installs the correct textures.
Okay.
Just see if that might work.
I mean, alright. You guys can hear the music. I've launched it. The graphics aren't great, but whatever.
Checking Ascension. I loaded it, and now I'm in Ascension and see if that fixed it.
Yep. Alright, I'm quitting this. If that doesn't fix it, I don't care. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
play the game.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they didn't fix. So, oh well, I guess we'll have to deal with the broken textures.
Well, let me see if it's on any of the other ones. If it's just Ascension, we can move on. If the other ones are so broken, then that might be an issue.
I think they also mentioned Shinonuma,
Shinonuma looked
so you
fine,
might
though.
want to check that.
But we already played Shinonuma.
Oh, right. Okay.
Alright, I'm just gonna try Call of the Dead.
Well, I've always liked the
Skip,
monsters
skip,
and-
skip. Don't copyright
I
flag
like
me.
the zombies being-
Don't content ID me. Yep. Oh, wait. Hold on.
Don't look like this storm's letting up.
Oh, no.
Nobody's coming to help us.
Oh, there's missing textures here, too. That stinks. So it seems like it only happened with the DLC levels, and we just never noticed this because we didn't test these levels.
Yeah.
Alright. That's unfortunate. Let me try out Shangri-La and Moon.
Okay.
Yep. So this isn't even a sharing texture issue. This is just the DLC maps have broken textures. Because I know for certain that the main Call of Duty game never used a Naga texture.
Yeah, well, try verifying integrity of game on Steam, because that was also recommended, which, yeah, of course, that's the first thing you do.
Yeah, but again, why would it happen to both of us?
Maybe it's just like an installation thing that happens to every, like, it's a common thing that it messes up.
Alright, the moon level seems to be working fine. Let me actually teleport to the moon to see if that changes it. Spoilers, I guess.
It said one file failed to validate and will be required, so...
That's probably not serious.
If this is end of Nikolai,
Yeah, I guess the moon looks fine.
what
Welcome to station. Artificial gravity and life support systems are offline.
Fine enough, anyway.
the perfect place for my favorite hobby. Hitting random buttons without any caution whatsoever.
Nikolai said, a moon base where I can do my favorite hobby, hitting random buttons with no caution whatsoever.
That's funny.
Alright, so yeah, it just seems like our DLC stuff has broken textures, unfortunately. We'll have to look into that. I didn't know this was an issue because it just didn't happen on any of the other levels. Even the remake levels, it didn't happen on them.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Here, let me try launching Steam, and I'll do the game integrity thing, I guess. How fast is it? Does it take a while?
And no, it was super fast.
Alright. Properties. Installed files. Verify integrity of game files. Alright, it's doing it. 30%. 50%. 70%. 90%. One file failed. Yeah, it's probably not serious. Yeah, I mean, I can try it again. I just don't think it's going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Apologies for technical issues.
Yeah.
All right.
I've always liked the monster
Nope,
within
nope.
idea.
I should
I
have
like
done a
the
different level than
zombies
this one.
being
Nope, still broken. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to call it here. Kira, if it's all right, we can try to fix this in the next week and then give Ascension another try. How's that sound?
Yeah, alright, that sounds good.
We'll have to end it a bit early due to technical issues.
What happened in Cuba?
Yeah, I have that carpal tunnel, so it's probably best anyway.
I told you if you wanted to cancel this week, we could.
I didn't want to, but since we're having issues anyway, so I guess we might as well.
Watch her play a different game after we log off.
Shut up.
All right. Sorry about the technical issues, but thanks for checking in, guys. We'll probably have it fixed by next week. We have a whole week to figure it out.
Mhm.
All right. Well, you have a good one. Thank you. Bye.